Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, make sure you click that subscribe button. I would love for you to join the family. So today we have a really fun video. Actually, we have a sit down video. This is my husband. If you haven't seen him in any of my videos in the background before, my man.
I know
And this is one of my besties, Damacy. She actually has a podcast that you definitely should go check out. It's called There's Grace for That. It's on all the streaming platforms, and she's gonna interview us today. What?
Thank you.
Oh yeah, she's gonna interview us today. I'm gonna kind of introduce it. It was her idea, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Well, yes, like she said, hello everyone. My name is Damacy, and I love interviewing people. Really, there's nothing more than that. I just enjoy interviewing people. I did go to school for journalism, but so maybe that has something to do with it, but I feel like I've been like that before. So yeah, I noticed their first year was coming up. We're past that now, but and so I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to interview y'all about your experience in your first year being married. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yay. So yeah, we're gonna do a little Valentine's Day edition because my husband and I have been married for a little over a year now. So we are definitely still newlyweds, so we thought it'd be cool to just go over, kind of reflect over that year since Valentine's Day is upon us. This video actually might be posted on Valentine's Day or the day before if editing goes well. So yeah, we thought it'd be a fun video to do, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
So first question, just to set some context, how long did y'all date before getting engaged?
Oh yeah, I knew you were gonna put it toward me. I've only been 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
6 months. Yeah.
So we met in June?
No, so we met in May.
We met in May of 2023. We went on our first official date in June of 2023. We got engaged October of 2023. I'm lying, 2022, because we got married in 2023.
That's crazy.
Right, because you said 2023,
Yeah,
and I was like,
y'all just all let me go with it. I was like,
okay, baby, I was gonna let you have that.
Time is just like going so fast. I was like,
Okay,
so it sounds right.
Rewind. Okay, so we met in May of 2022. We had our first date June of 2022. We got engaged October of 2022, and we got married October 2023.
There it is.
What's the
Wow.
word? There you go. Yeah, so really quick.
6 months. 6 months is not a long time to date before getting engaged. So, Termar, this question's for you.
Okay.
What was it about this woman here that made you want to make her your wife?
Oh, that's funny. So to avoid being like really punny or like kind of, but she gave me a lot of grace. So there's grace for that. She gave me a lot of grace. A lot of different things that I've been throughout my life, my childhood, everything like that. Believe it or not, our first official date, I ended up telling her majority of my life story, and she was just like, yeah. And I was just like, wow, she's just accepting this like so well. And I think you really have to be careful, and I don't want to like start preaching, but you gotta be careful like what you intake, what kind of social media, because prior to that, probably like a year before, I just been taking a lot of stuff from the manosphere, like, yeah, women are doing this and doing that, and then you think, okay, there's not going to be a woman that can accept my flaws and things I've been through without degrading me or like throwing that back in my face. So me being able to be vulnerable with her, tell her all that stuff, and then her just accept it and actually like love me through that, mind you, first date was just really incredible. So I knew like leaving Arabian Mountain that she was my wife. Yep.
And then that kind of grace continued, obviously, as y'all dated.
For sure.
Because you can think something day one, and then you start to see different things that make you feel like, oh, I'm not so sure. But like you knew, and then you continued to know.
For sure.
That is a testimony.
I don't know where these questions are going, but it's kind of funny because you thought I was going to cry on the day of the wedding, but I told her I cried so much leading up to the wedding. I was just like dried out. I couldn't like crying. I cried like so much during our dating and engagement time. I was like, at that point in time, I was like, yeah, I'm ready now. I was perfectly fine at that point. Yeah, I was just like, I'm good.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And Nicole, what was it about Termar that made you want to be his wife or make him your husband?
So I didn't think that he was my husband after the first date, but I did leave our first date asking the Lord to guard my heart because I really liked him, and I was like, I don't got time for games. I'm not trying to be in the streets. I don't know. So I asked the Lord to guard my heart. I think that ongoing, just like really learning about his heart. So one, for me, just because you call yourself a Christian, that's fine, but just seeing how you walk with the Lord. So he definitely wasn't perfect. No one's perfect. But I think just like his intentionality behind his relationship with Christ and his vulnerability and his flaws was definitely important. And I think also it's a little tidbit, but for me, I didn't have sex until our wedding night. So I think a lot of guys, when you say like, hey, I'm waiting to have sex until marriage, they're like, oh, I respect that. Or they'll say things like, well, what can we do? And to some people, I respect that might sound like a good thing, but it doesn't to me, because that just shows that like, I respect what you're doing, but I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'll do it because you're doing it, but it's not my desire. But for him, it was like, oh, I'm trying to. Not that any of us have been perfect with it, but it's like, I'm trying to. So I think just like his heart for the Lord and his desire to get deeper with God. And then also the fact that we just had so much fun together. Like, we still are big kids, but we have always been big kids. And I feel like that has like grounded our relationship. So I think just like that, our ability to have fun together, and then just his patience and grace with me, I could tell he was a lover boy. So I feel like once the Lord blesses his man to be abundantly and exceedingly for where we are now, I'm going to be even more spoiled. And I love that for me. So I was like, hey, Lord, we can, So anyways, yeah, those things.
I love that. I don't know. We just have to stay here for a little bit longer because like you saying what you consume on social media made you feel one way about women. Then you meet Nicole and she's blowing all of that out of the water. And then you are also kind of, being not controversial, but you're speaking against what we normally hear, because you're talking about how much his vulnerability really attracted you to him. And unfortunately, there's still people out here who are like, men shouldn't do this, men shouldn't do that. Whereas, look, a lot of us women love that. We eat that mess up, okay? Like, we eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, tell me, but sometimes but sometimes it's very dangerous, because we have this complex of trying to save men.
I wasn't trying to save them.
But there is a beauty and like an intimacy that comes with knowing somebody's heart, because we do it more naturally. Like, at least that's what society tells us. And I know that for me, it's very easy for me to be open about things that are close to my heart. I know for you, it's also like where you lean. So yeah, but it's beautiful when men do that too. So I love that attracted you to him. And I love that, like, her breaking that stereotype for you was like, okay, there are women out there, because there are women out there, including me. Okay, so wait, no, that's not true.
I will say this. I know it's going to be like predominantly women that watch this, but I think that for men, there's a difference between being vulnerable and complaining. And so, like, growing up, you're always like, oh, just rub some dirt in that. Everything that you can do emotionally is seen as complaining. Usually when you're growing up as a boy into teenage, and there's a difference between the two. And I think a lot of men don't know there's a difference. So it's like, I'd rather not say it because I just don't want to complain. But when I was expressing stuff to her, it was just like, no, this is what I've been through. This is what I'm working on. I'm not complaining about it. I just want to share it with you. So when you can figure out that difference, then that's better, because women don't want to hear complaining, right? It's like, you eat it up, but it's like, you're not complaining. It's just like, hey, I'm just sharing this with you, and because we're in a safe spot.
That's a good differentiation.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. Wow. And that was just the first question? Yeah. Well, second. Okay. So, let's talk about singleness. What about singleness did you love / what about singleness do you miss?
Ooh,
guys,
come on.
Okay, because
you guys go first.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, so for me, I think my single season was a little different. So I had dated a lot of guys. Like, I was always in a relationship from like 5th grade all the way to college, and then I was single for 7 years because I told God that I needed to focus on him and me, because I was like, why do I feel the need to always be with a guy? Very not okay. So yeah, I was actually content in my singleness before we got together. So I think I just loved the freedom of being single. I don't know, I feel like I did like some crazy things. Like, I went to countries by myself, like just like decisions that I wouldn't necessarily make now being married, because someone else is involved and I have to consult that person, which is also a beautiful thing. But just like the freedom of it, and the independence you get from that, like walking with you and God. Like, I'm really consulting God. So if God says go, I go, right? But because he's like the head of our household, I'm consulting God to lead both of us, but I'm also taking in what he thinks is important as well. So I think I just love like that independence and that freedom you get from being single. And it's just like exploring. It's a very like exploring time to learn about yourself. And like, I was like always out with friends. We were always doing stuff together. Like, I still do that, because I'm not one of those married people that don't like to be out. But I feel like, I would.
Speak on it.
Oh yeah, no.
Because some people get married and you never see them again.
No, not at all. I love my friends, and I really want to keep my community. Like, I really do. Anyways, I guess what I miss about being single kind of ties into that. But we were joking about the other day where I was telling him that whenever we do have kids, we might have to have a code word for like when I come home if I'm like too overstimulated, where I text him and say like refuge. ETA 5:15, which means like I need you to take the kids. I'll be home at 5:15. I need 15 minutes. Like we were just talking about that because I was like, I don't know how I would be with kids being like, mommy, and I just got off of work, right? Or I'm just tired. So I say even now not having kids, sometimes coming home to someone else being in your space can be a lot. It's like I love being around this man. But there's times where it's like, why are you like like in the
You don't
bathroom?
have nowhere else to be.
Literally, we in the bath, like we're everywhere together. And it's not even like we can't be other places. It's just like how, you know, you're getting ready together, your night routine is together. You have to talk about certain things, so you just be around each other, which is a beautiful thing as well. But there are times where I'm like, dang, I feel bad. Like, I don't want to be mean and be like, can you leave? You know what I mean? So that's because that sounds mean. But I think I do miss like that quiet, which we have a lot of quiet because we both are calm when we want to be. But like with kids calm, and then also you have another person, like he likes talking out loud to himself. Sometimes I get annoyed because he be chewing. I'm like, bruh, like it's just that. So anyways, that was a long-winded way. But yeah, so I just missed that.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
So it's like and miss.
Love and miss.
Love and miss.
It could be the same.
Yeah. I was like,
All right. Let me think. Wow, love. I mean, being single is ghetto, but no, I'm just kidding.
And that could be your
the
story.
best thing that ever happened to me.
Maybe you didn't love.
For sure.
You know,
Outside
I don't
of
know.
salvation with Christ, first and foremost. Love. That's crazy. I don't know.
So you didn't love anything about me, and if that's.
I mean, I didn't hate being single. She does give me grace to do a lot with my business. I do feel like I would probably be a little bit riskier with things. Like I've even told her that I was like, I would put enough money to a point where I would sleep in my car if I thought that could like project my business a little bit further. So I think that's one of the things I love. Like even though I had my clothing line, it didn't work out. I couldn't see myself just dropping, like, I'm not going to disclose how much money, but a lot of, like, thousands of dollars. She wouldn't have like probably let me do that just for it to like, end up the way that it did. So I did enjoy being able to just be like, oh, I have the money, let me just go ahead and do it now, or do that. Something I miss, and this is actually like probably not my best trait, but I miss being able to just disappear. Cause like I've been doing that for so long. I could just leave and just be like, okay, I'm going to a park, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go to a different state. And my mom would be like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm in Tennessee. And she was like, what? Like, be safe. And I'm just in a cabin. But now it's like, you can't just leave your wife and go somewhere. I was still,
I'm in Colorado.
Like what? So yeah, I'm trying to work through that. I miss being able to just disappear. I miss that. I'm trying to
How
work
long
through
you used to disappear for? What's the longest time you disappeared for?
Tennessee might have been the longest time. I was there for about 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
But like,
Just
that's
little
not too
getaways,
bad.
little escapes from.
But it was the not telling people part that's like I can't.
It was exhilarating.
I don't know. I just
like
like
that.
Yeah.
Oh. So
I went to North Carolina and did that before.
I might have to take this part out depending on how he feels about it. But the other night,
Oh yeah, I just left.
we had like we didn't really get into it. We just had like a disagreement. Actually, I don't think we had anything. It was just definitely some tension. And he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave." And I was like, "Okay, bye." We like say, "Okay, bye, I love you." So I was sick. So I was sick and I took a nap. I wake up an hour later. He's not back. That's totally fine. You need your space, whatever. I look at his location. I can't see this man's location. You don't.
You turned that thing on. Girl.
Mind you, I was 5 minutes away, but I went to the park.
He turned his location off. And I texted him.
It's just weird knowing somebody knows where you're at.
And I didn't know this was a problem. Like, this never happened.
I'm still trying to get used to that. Because
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I could usually leave and no one know I'm at.
So that gave you a tiny little bit of like sense of relief
Yeah,
when you
it was
like
I came back feeling really good.
The crazy thing is I didn't know that. I didn't know until right this minute. I didn't know that what he missed was the disappearing. Like, I never knew that.
Yeah.
So I never connected these two things. But for me, it's not. You could leave. That's totally fine. We share our location. One, because I don't need to be texting you where you at all the time. But two, safety.
Sure.
He left. It was nighttime when he went to the park. I didn't know he went to the park. I just knew that.
I do some pretty crazy stuff.
I just
Like,
knew
it
he
was dark,
left.
I was just walking in all black.
Yeah. I just knew he left. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. You
Okay,
leave. I wake
black
up.
man.
It's
Come
like,
on.
yeah, it's dark outside. So I'm like, okay, let me look. I can't see the location. I text him and I'm like, I think I called you and he didn't answer. And I text him or he texted me or something like that. I don't remember.
Sounds bad.
But then I was like, can you please turn your location back on? He doesn't respond to that part, but he's like, I'm coming home. So he comes home and he's like, it's on. Baby, it's on. You just walks in the house. I don't like.
I don't care if it's on now.
Turn it on.
So that's like the little pettiness of marriage sometimes. But I didn't know that he needs that. But we made it. we not promise, but we talk to each other. We're not doing that. Like, you're not turning the location off. But I can like
disappear from everybody except for God and her.
Yeah, so. But also you could disappear. I'll just know. Not exactly.
She's not gonna come get you.
Yeah, I don't know if you disappear somewhere. I would have just seen that you're in this area. I don't know exactly where you are. Yeah, but that's interesting. I never made that connection. So look.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
new things coming to light.
A little tidbit of our little, realness.
I appreciate y'all sharing that. We'll see if it makes it in. All right. Okay, let's see. So, what is something that you really don't miss about being single, or what did you not like about singleness? We can start with you because I think you have a lot you didn't like.
Something I didn't like about singleness.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what book in the Bible where Jesus was basically saying if you could go the route without being married, that would be better.
Peter,
like if
right?
you could do that.
Paul,
yeah.
Paul, yeah.
And I don't think I could do that. Like I'm just like, listen, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just I feel like life wouldn't be the same if I couldn't build a legacy through a family. So that'd be the first thing. And then also from more of like just a physical side, like at some point you want to have sex and not have God being like, what are you doing? At some point you want him cheering you on like, yeah. Like, so it's just
how you see God when y'all being.
That's what I'm saying. Like now it's okay.
You hear God winking like you see me.
Just dap him up. Yeah, sorry, my boy.
Yeah.
So those two things for sure. Yeah.
So you've kind of always known that you wanted to be married.
For sure. I just didn't know if that would be possible because I just didn't have good examples of it. So I was just like, I want to be able to do that, but I don't know what it looks like to be able to sustain it for several years. So.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
What do you not miss about being single? What did you not like about being single?
What do I not miss?
Pumping gas.
Yeah, I have not pumped gas in a very long time. I'm not one of those girls like my sister, and my sister cannot wait to not have to pump gas. I've never been that kind of person, but okay, y'all. So oh my gosh,
just quick.
Okay,
we're starting to GoFundMe.
Stop. Okay, y'all. So my storage was full, so the part of the video that we just recorded literally deleted. So we are gonna do it over. So the lighting looks a little different. It's because the sunlight is going down, and I have a ring light type thing. So, anyways,
it was so good.
We're back. I know it was so good. You can't recreate.
So y'all gonna get about 68% of what we just did. But anyway,
100% though.
Huh?
I said you got 100% though.
What you mean?
Like you were able to get 100%.
Oh, with my podcast short?
Just you as a person.
Oh yeah, I was. I got 100%. Y'all get 68. Y'all will be okay. All right. Okay. So the last question that y'all didn't hear was, give me characteristics of someone you would say is not ready for marriage, and then give me characteristics of someone who is ready for marriage based on your experience.
Okay. So I would say you are not ready for marriage. I'm just laughing because we just did this whole thing. So I can't. Okay, sorry. You are not ready for marriage if you are not a forgiving person, if you don't know how to serve well, like if you can't outserve the other person, if you don't take criticism well, and not just hearing criticism, but hearing it and actually changing what you do based on that criticism. If you don't have like your own personality and your own desires in life, because I feel like it's really easy to lose yourself in marriage, which I just feel like that's not good at all. Like you need to know like what you like. You need to make sure you still have friends you can hang out with. You're not losing yourself becoming that person that just doesn't hang out anymore because you're married. Don't do that. Okay. So if you are that kind of person where it's like when you get in a relationship with a guy, like when you're dating, your friends don't ever see you.
Do better, ladies.
You may not be ready just
better.
because if something happens, you know what I mean? You need that community. Community is so important. So I feel like just understanding yourself. So yeah, I think that's good for now. If I think about another one while he's talking, I'll hold up.
For sure. I only have 3.
Okay, good.
So you're only not ready to get married if you're not willing to get as close as you can to agape love. And so we were kind of talking about that. It was a funny joke, but like literally she could make me mad. If I was cooking dinner that night, I still need to cook 2 seconds later. I can't be like, well, you just made me mad. I guess we're not eating. So you have to be able to, you have to be able to love like and continuously love through faults and everything in between. The second one, you have to be willing to continue to learn. So you want to be able to continue to learn more about yourself and then learn more about your partner. And that's going to just be something that continuously happens. I think that if you allow it, you'll probably learn a ton about yourself from being married. And the last one, fellas, you have to be okay with them like basically correcting your driving. If you're not willing to have like an afro puff in your face as you're trying to look and see the side mirror, and you just see her face there, and it's like, hey, I'm trying to see if a car's coming. Hi, babe. It's like, then you're not ready to get married.
Funnier
So.
every time.
Because I need to make a video of
Okay, and with those who are ready to be married need to have what characteristics?
Okay, so I would say you are ready to be married if obviously like a lot of us don't have the best amount of patience sometimes, but basically if you're a patient person, like, or if you are willing to grow in that area, I definitely think you are ready to be married. I think you're ready to be married if you understand the weight of marriage, so not just the weight of marriage on this earth and everything comes with, because you are literally legally joining with another person, but just the weight of marriage in God's eyes and how because of that the enemy will attack it. So I think just understanding, if you truly understand that and can sit with that and still say yes, sickness and health and all that, and really understand that, I think that you are ready to be married.
Yeah, I would say you're ready to get married if you've confronted some of your past traumas.
Oh, okay, that's a
It
good
doesn't necessarily mean you've gotten through all of them, but I think you should have at least confronted them. I don't think, obviously there'll be some things that maybe come up and it's like, okay, now I need to confront it. But if there's something that you already know is in your past and you're just like, I'm just not going to confront it, but then you're going to get married and you already know it's there, you should have at least did some kind of work with the Lord, therapy, Jesus and therapy, great combination, to try and work through that.
Thank y'all for that. What has been the best thing or best memory about your first year of marriage? Is there one thing that stands out?
I would say for me, the best thing just in general about marriage is, I feel like just having like a team player, like having a partner, like just like a life partner to do things with, and like that's kind of like on the same page as you, which is why, going back to other thing, it's really important that before you get married, you understand like some of your goals that might change, it should change when you get married, but you know like who you kind of are, and when you find someone who you can match that with and it kind of aligns, I feel like it's such a beautiful thing. It's a really empowering thing, honestly. So just being able to do life with this man and know that we're on the same page and know that it's not easy, but no matter what happens, he has my back, I think has been one of the best things about marriage, for sure.
Okay. I would say the best thing, really just having like a support partner. Like when they talk about having your rib, being able to really feel that, because I feel like a lot of times, especially when we talk about like men hiding emotions and stuff like that, you go through a lot of things, and I'm really analytical and I stay in my head, so I have a permanent residence up there sometimes. But she's like allowed me to be able to spend a lot of stuff that I would usually just kind of keep to myself and just talk to myself about. I can then talk to her about it. So like being able to express emotions in a safe spot is like really huge. So. Favorite memory for the first year? Definitely, it's hard to choose one, but I would definitely say Bali was really fun. And the wedding is like probably like combined with that. Those are really.
So our honeymoon and our wedding.
Yeah, I mean, those are two like amazing times. Wedding was an amazing day. Like I don't think weddings ever go perfectly, but that was like really fun.
So the question we were on was your favorite memory from the first year of marriage. So Tamar had just talked about the honeymoon and the wedding and how much fun it was. And then Nicole, you were saying something really beautiful. Would you like to?
Y'all.
Sorry,
Okay.
Yeah. You could tell. You want?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay for. Apple got me, y'all. I try not to pay for their stories, but I might have to because my story just went out again. And I answered this really well the first time, so let's see if I can do it again. But I was just saying I didn't necessarily have a favorite memory holistically, or I guess individually. Like everything was good to me. But I was thinking back on our wedding night. I think what I was saying is that I think that people try, when you are saving yourself for marriage, a lot of times people can scare you when it comes to sex, or they can make you feel like, oh, it's gonna hurt, or this. You just hear a lot of things that aren't so positive for the first time, okay? And I know that everybody's first time isn't the best, so I get it, and it's a new experience. But for us, I feel like because we were so intentional with our first time, and because we had waited, and because he is such a patient person and he cares about me, he wants me to enjoy it, and like there was just so much love in that moment. We actually cried during our first time having sex, which I don't know. We cried. We literally cried during the act because we were just so overjoyed that the Lord had brought us this far and allowed us to engage in this thing together. And we were just so happy. So it was just such a beautiful experience. And honestly, sometimes I think back on that, like how beautiful it was and how I'm just thankful that that was like my first time, you know? So I think that was a beautiful moment. And we've had other beautiful sexual moments still, even after that. And I think that just shows that sometimes people say, oh, you got to test a car. Even Christians will be like, it's just going to be terrible the first few times. And I'm just like, okay, pause. Like the Lord created this, it's good. And if you do it within his within his confines, it should still be good. So I think God's been really faithful. So that's an encouragement to anyone out there. But yeah.
I love that. No, that's very beautiful because we don't hear that side a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy for y'all. If you know, you know. All right.
You know.
So, and then I had asked, how long did the honeymoon stage last? Would you say?
Okay. Okay. I feel like, so we both don't really like that term of honeymoon stage, but okay, when I think about honeymoon stage, everyone's definition might be different. I don't know if there's a Wikipedia definition, but when I think about honeymoon stage or
Unreliable,
I think about like fun, carefree, like, you know, just enjoying each other. And I would say we still are doing that. Like we still have a lot of fun. We're still very carefree. We still enjoy each other's presence. So that's how we're defining honeymoon stage. I would say that we are still in it. And I pray that we are fun and carefree and enjoying each other's presence for the rest of our marriage. So yeah.
Absolutely. I would just ditto the same thing. Like our first night right after our marriage, like I feel like we had known each other so long. I think that's another thing that made that moment you're just talking about so comfortable, because I was like, dang, why does it feel like we've known each other our entire lives? So yeah, we don't really like the terminology. If people want to call it that, cool, but I guess we'll just be on a lifelong honeymoon stage.
the grace of God.
Yeah,
okay,
that's what we're going for.
Forever honeymoon.
Forever honeymoon.
So I was like, honeymoon forever. That don't really sound good. Okay. Okay, so if you had to identify one way that your marriage is unique or special. Yet another question.
I think it's a new question.
Yet another question that we've already answered.
But we'll try and give y'all the same energy. Energy.
So yeah, what's something unique or special about y'all's marriage?
But one thing that's like truly unique, I think, is despite like the, I guess, I would say lack of better words, but what actually happened, but failed marriages that we've seen, the examples that haven't been as good, we still trusted God. We moved into marriage rather quickly just by his will. And typically you'll always have people just base their faith off of someone else's faith. So they'll be like, I saw this person, they were saved, they went to church, and they were together for 46 years, then they got divorced. So obviously, you know, God isn't enough, and people will come to that conclusion. But we just decided, hey, we're going to trust God despite the examples that we've seen, good, bad, ugly, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go ahead and move into it and just put our full trust in him, and that we actually, you know, chose the right people.
Yeah. I would say what makes our marriage unique and special, similar to that, one thing is, okay, so I know a lot of people give advice where they're like, oh, keep God at the center of your marriage, which is definitely good advice. But I think that people don't really know what that looks like because it's just such a vague statement. And I think that we have been good in actually doing that, and not just with words, but actually with actions, like praying about the biggest or the smallest things and only moving when he tells us to move, which takes a lot of patience and a lot of like putting down our own pride and what we want, and putting God's wants above our own. And I think that we've done a really good job of that in our marriage, and that makes our marriage really special because we just move differently. I think another thing that makes our marriage special is that we are big kids. I know we say that a lot, but we literally are. Like, we have a lot of fun. We act crazy all the time, and we do that together all the time. And I know it's not like a performance, or it's not just like, oh, we're doing it today because of whatever. Like, we literally just enjoy each other. And I feel like if we can continue that in our marriage, like, that is such a special thing. And I know that there's been people that we've met that will be like, oh, you're such a beautiful couple, or you look really good together, or just like, we can tell that you really like each other. Like, certain things are like vain statements, which we appreciate. But other things are like actually like, oh, we can tell that you really like each other. So I pray that kind of spark, or that liking each other and enjoying each other's presence, doesn't die. And I think that in some couples it does fade, which is why marriage can be looked upon so negatively sometimes. But I think that makes our relationships really special. Just our ability to be kids and really actually enjoy each other.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're down to our last two questions of the interview. So if you could give Tamar a grade on how he was as a husband during your first year. I am trying to get you in trouble. Yes. In your first year of marriage, What grade would you give him? 0 to 100.
Oh, I thought we were doing like ABC. Okay. So
Oh, okay. You can do ABC or you can
Okay,
give a
okay.
number, whichever.
This is scarier for me, just because.
I can definitely see how it's scarier for you.
I was about to say, I'm probably going to give myself a crazy grade just because I'm really hard on myself. But
No. You're not answering about you. You're answering about.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
For
okay.
her,
you
like,
trying to say
her
it's scared for him
telling
because
me-
I'm mean or something?
Yeah. Yeah, you a little bit more. You be like, whereas I feel like he'd be like,
Oh, yeah. Like, what?
Oh, my reaction. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
your
okay,
reaction,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, score me. I'm joking. Okay, I would give him in the first year of marriage. I would give him an A minus.
Okay.
I really would, honestly. I feel like we only had one what I would consider like an actual argument in our marriage, and it was really early on. Yeah, and I think that we have grown in communication a lot. Bless the Lord.
You know which argument she's talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've grown. I don't remember what it was about, but we remember it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've grown in communication a lot, and we've enjoyed each other. And like in particularly, he has done a really good job of like learning how to be a leader. Like that's really hard, and sometimes I critique it or like stuff like that. But like learning how to be a leader, taking the advice, just like being a good husband, really. So it's only year one, but I would say A minus, and that's not a bad start.
No, for sure. That's,
Y'all don't know what you finna say about me. I don't know what you finna say.
What is
y'all
she
heard
get?
that rich boy where they be like, throw some D's on. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. Nah.
I did.
Just got my report card. That's hilarious. All right. Anyways, if you know, you know. Hey, listen, that's Southside. But I'll actually give you an A though, for sure.
Just an A.
I'll give you a solid A. Lot of grace for allowing me to like, y'all know, right? No, like I think like the grace that's needed for a man to be able to figure out how to lead, that's like such a huge thing. And I think a lot of times you'll end up in situations where men will either do this, like they'll go to the extremes, either the yes dear and they'll never lead, or the like it's this authoritarian like my way or the highway kind of thing. And I think it just comes from like the insecurity of like I can't like really take feedback, or the feedback that's given, it's done in such a like egregious and like rough way that man's like, I don't have to hear that, or like avoid hearing that by just saying, okay, I'm just gonna say yes. So like I think the level of grace to just let me kind of figure things out allows me to develop as a leader without all the angst.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, A's all around. We love to see it. Good job. Round of applause. A. Come on, A minus. You still get,
passed, y'all. We passed.
green. Okay, so very, very last question is what encouragement, like what's one piece of encouragement that you would have for us single folk who desire to be married one day? I know there's so much advice out there for single people, but like, but once again, based on your particular experience, what's something that you would say to encourage? I guess you could talk to a single woman, you could talk to a single man, or you could just talk to single people.
I think what's kind of interesting is we were both single for 7 years. Something about that number of completion. But my encouragement would just be surround yourself with other men who love God, who are allowing basically God to lead them fully in their life, because you can't find your wife and obtain favor without God. Like you need that as a part of it. And then also just going back to the social media thing, like you have to really watch what you're intaking. My outlook on marriage and being able to find my wife changed when I like changed what I was intaking. So if you can switch that up, if you're going to be watching the Shade Room and all kinds of crazy stuff, then it's going to look really crazy. It already looks crazy enough as it is, but if that's all you're intaking, like it's probably going to be a wrap for you. So I would change that and then just walk with God, be on your mission, and you'll find your wife as you're on mission. So
That's good, man. Okay. That's good. I think my encouragement to single women
Look me straight in the eye.
would be to know your worth. I think that I believe that we all have individual purposes. So I don't believe that your life starts when you get married. I think that God has something that he wants us all to do before we get married. Specifically as women, I think some women put their identity in being married or being a wife, which you shouldn't do, in my opinion. Specifically before you even have the partner, right? So I think just like knowing your worth and knowing the purpose that God has given you, and just walking in that. And when I say know your worth, it's like, don't waste your time on these men. Like there are so many relationships that I was in that I shouldn't have been. It really not add that much value to my life, to be honest. Like there's only like him and like one other boyfriend that I could say actually added like growth, me learning. So I would just say like know your worth and have your standards and stick to that. Don't let anyone tell you like, oh, your standards are too high. Obviously, if you have things like, oh, he got to be 6 this or 5, that's no. Or like, oh, he has to look a certain way. If it's artificial things that are about the outside of the cup and not the inside, I would tell you to check that. But if it's actually things that are biblically aligned or just like you have trauma in this area, you know you can't deal with someone that does this, like that's important. So just keeping those standards because God is faithful enough to provide. And I feel like a lot of times we lower our standards because one of trauma, things we're not healed by, and 2, because we don't believe it's out there, which is a lie. Like if you out there and you that good, then someone else can match that. So I would just say know your worth, stick to your standards, and just continue walking your individual purpose before you find your person. Like, don't do these guys. I just like I actually get really sad. I get sad when I see women like
settling, lowering their standards.
Yeah, it really breaks my heart. So.
And you have a really beautiful testimony because I remember when you were giving your vows, you brought out this like list or letter that you had written about like what you wanted in your future husband and like.
I wrote a letter back in, so we met in 2022.
Those were very intentional things that you wrote.
Yeah, I wrote a letter back in 2012 or something like that, just because I had went through something with a guy, and I was like, Lord, I'm trusting you to provide a husband that has these things. So it was just like all these things that I wanted. Just like, like you said, very intentional things that I feel like the Holy Spirit was just pouring into me. And like, when Tamar found me, he was those things.
And you didn't change that. You didn't.
And it's just like.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and we like fasted about our relationship before we got married just to see, because we were willing to like separate if God didn't want that. And one thing, I just pulled out that notebook randomly and started reading it and literally bawled because I was like, oh my gosh, he's like right here. So yeah, for sure, please don't settle. I'm like literally begging you. Oh my gosh.
Well, those are all the questions I have. So thank y'all for letting me interview you. I will be anytime, any
if y'all want a part 2, let us know. This one was a little choppy. Y'all probably can't even tell because I'm gonna edit it. But phones were dying, storage, all that
part
stuff.
2 by the time part 2 comes out.
Yeah, cameras were like storage was all this other stuff. So it was a little and the sun's down. It's dark, but bless the Lord for light. So it was a little choppy, but I'm just really thankful. Thank you for wanting to do it and for doing it so well. Like I said, definitely check out her podcast and Instagram page. There's grace for that. Is there a underscore?
Yeah, so Instagram is there's grace for _ that. I think YouTube is just there's grace for that. So yeah, once you find the page on Instagram, in the bio, you should find everything else you need there.
Yeah, so her podcast is a little tidbit. It's about
there's grace for that, giving yourself grace through hard times. Season 1, we're on season 1 currently, and it is there's grace for grief. And we have a story with that too, but part 6.
But yeah, so definitely follow her. I hope you guys enjoyed this, getting to know us a little more. This little Valentine's edition. Hope you all have an amazing Valentine's Day. That you know that you are loved above everything. You are loved by us and you're loved by the Lord and hopefully by someone special in your life as well. But I love you guys. Leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Turn notification bell. All that good stuff. And most importantly, say it with us. Your life is totally worth living.
I love you. See you in the next one.
I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.